This is Jason. He has more than 2,500 band shirts, enjoys 80s thrash metal albums, has a dog named Bela Lugosi, drinks black coffee in the morning.
And I sue government agencies for information. I'm Jason Leopold, and I'm an investigative journalist. Money laundering, corruption, covert programs, Secret Service visiting celebrities. I have the luxury of dipping my toe into any subject. I've been described as a FOIA terrorist by the FBI. I've also been referred to as a member of a FOIA posse by the Department of Justice, and the NSA has actually said I've weaponized the FOIA.
The Freedom of Information Act, which is commonly known as the FOIA, is a law that gives you the right to access information from the federal government.
It's a half-century-old law.
Often described as a law that keeps citizens in the know about what their government is doing.
It's an incredibly powerful tool. So I first got involved with the Freedom of Information Act probably about 15 years ago. And really where it started to pick up was during Occupy Wall Street. I started to file requests with the FBI related to their role in allegedly dismantling the encampments that were set up around the country. Remarkably, the FBI responds to my FOIA request by stating they had no records and they could not locate any records. So I had hooked up with an attorney and he told me, well, we can sue the agency, we can sue the FBI. And I was like, wait, what? I can sue the government? Where do I sign up? And wouldn't you know, once I sued them, they found those records that they said they could not find. And from that moment on, I just kind of kept filing requests and suing the government. I'm constantly filing FOIA requests. I've easily filed more than 5,000. There are instances where I'll be driving and I'll hear something on the radio and I need to pull over because I have to get the request filed. Really what I'm trying to do is to pry loose records so I can build out investigations, but also trying to get records that would enlighten the public and shed light on hot button issues. I think the FOIA is underutilized by the general public. Journalists only make up a sliver of requests that are filed on the federal level. There's certainly been an uptick in the use of FOIA over the past decade or so, but the majority of the FOIA requests that federal government agencies receive are from commercial requesters, people who are taking that information and selling it. They're not requesting records that are in the public interest. They're not sharing those records with the public. The FOIA request is what I refer to as a template. My template says, this is a request under the Freedom of Information Act, then I cite the law, and I'm telling the agency exactly what I'm looking for. So it's a very simple process, but it can also be painstaking, and here's why. Agencies are not so eager to turn over records, and I just sit back and wait. But sometimes waiting can take years. It's like Christmas when I get these. Whoa, whoa. U.S. Treasury Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. And this is a request that I actually filed back in 2017. So it's taken the agency about 6 years. There really is no general wait time. There's more than 400 federal government agencies. So depending on the agency, the request can take anywhere from 3 months to 10 years. The least amount of time that I've waited for documents was about 2 days. I would say that the record of documents that arrived on my doorstep in one day was probably about 7,000 pages from the State Department. And I think that they did that as a view to me, knowing that I'd have to thumb through each and every page. The request that had the most impact, and I mean the most impact, was for Hillary Clinton's emails.
We are all accountable to the American people to get the facts right.
And it was my request and my lawsuit that became the vehicle by which all of Hillary Clinton's emails were released. And by the way, I had no idea she had a private server. I was just trying to get the public to be like, hey, look, it's her emails. Anyway.
The FBI has uncovered new evidence in its investigation of Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server.
Donald Trump is praising the FBI's decision to review new emails.
Another FOIA request that I filed, and ultimately a lawsuit that resulted in thousands of records that were released that had enormous impact, were records around Robert Mueller's report into whether or not Trump had colluded with Russia during the campaign of 2016. I was able to get Donald Trump Jr.'s name unredacted from the Mueller report. I've gotten records from the government where they talk about me in emails. And one time, the FBI sent an agent out to investigate one of my FOIA requests. And I only found out about that because I filed a FOIA request with the FBI. The most rewarding part of this job has always been holding power to account and speaking truth to power. That is really what keeps me going, and being able to shine a light into dark places.